was just looking for you, babe. Bella was just looking for you. She said, where is my daddy? Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. Bitch hey Tanae. I'm bringing this up. Did I put in? No. Did I put in Hosea? Does my thing say Hosea? Did I put in Hosea or Amos? Okay. How is that child? Oh my gosh. Top of the day, beautiful people. Top of the day. My husband was just showing me a video. This dad was teaching his son how to drive. Y'all probably heard him screaming, step on the brake. He didn't step on the brake. He hit the accelerator. Crashed through their fence, y'all. Terrible. Terrible. All right, y'all. Guess what today is? I don't know if anything will happen today, but things have been happening. Amos 4, 5, and 6. This is a day, Alicia said I legit woke up at 4 something. Yeah, I've been up for a minute too. I'm like, this is a day that we have been talking about for the last couple years. I said, we are here. We are here today. It's August the 20th, 2020. Like, today. Like, captivity is done. The 400 years is done. I remember when Yahuwah started opening my eyes to see what was going on, where it was like I had literally woke up from some kind of deep sleep. And it was like, what is going on here? You know, it was like we woke up in the twilight zone. And as we started learning this, I'm like, what have we been into? Like, seriously, it was like my eyes was like literally open to a whole nother world, right within the world where we were actually living. It's like we're completely dumb to what was going on in the church, outside of the church, all around us with our people, why things was happening to our people. But today is that day. Now, also remember when if you've read Jasher, you would understand the timeline a little bit. When they came out of Egypt the first time, from the first time when Moses came back, when he was out in the wilderness and everything, he had his family as y'all was developing him. When he came back, and the first time that he saw Pharaoh, there was a 2-year span from the first time that Moses told Pharaoh to let my people go. Yahuwah said, let my people go. There was a 2-year span before they actually saw them again, you know. So Yahuwah had heard the cries. The deliverer was on the scene. He was on the scene, and he had already made contact with Pharaoh. Let my people go. But there was a 2-year span, and then as the plagues played out, there was more time that they spent there in Egypt until they actually left from there. Alicia said, I'm like, should I put on clothes and shoes? Let me check if Pam called me. No, girl, I was just laying in the bed. I was just like, Father, we are here today. Today we are here. And like I said, like, I don't know what's going to happen for real. Like, but I do know what's going to happen. Like, and we've been seeing it. We've been seeing the progression of Yahuwah's people that have been on the bottom, the Negro people, and everything popped off kind of like with, and I ain't just going to say George Floyd, but it seemed like that was the catalyst for the entire world to wake up. Remember, Judah, Levi, and Benjamin, Judah is going to lead the charge, but it popped off here where Judah is at, and all the world began to wake up. Yeah, you got to stop killing us. Everybody, and they are still marching and protesting and rioting around the world because of this. They stopped showing it, a lot of it here on social media, but if you go looking for it, you actually go look for it, you will see that it's still happening in Europe and in a lot of different places here, right? You know, so, but we'll begin to see Yahuwah's people come back on top, regain our rightful heritage. A lot of us that know we shouldn't be here, we're going to begin to make the transition back home. Like I said, I posted a video yesterday. I was like, yeah, they've been reading. It says Yahuwah's people are going to begin to inquire, where is Zion? Where is Zion? And we're going to go looking for Zion. That's what we've been doing. Where is Zion? Because it's not where they told us. Where is Zion? Lead us home. So, but some of our people, I ain't gonna say us, because I'm going back to Zion. We ain't gonna be here always in America. My family know that. But anyway, y'all, that's today. Just a quick intro. So today, it is Thursday, August the 20th, 2020. Check out that date though, 2020, 20 times 20. 400. Look at that. August the 20th, 2020. 400 years added up. 40, 400, whatever you want to do. Anyway, so today we're reading Amos 4, 5, and 6. And in 4, 5, and 6, Yahuwah is really getting on Israel, getting on his people about not returning to him, and all the shenanigans that they have been pulling. Hold on, this is the wrong version. Okay. All right, y'all. So here we go. Amos chapter 4. Listen to me. Hold on. Let me just give you the title. Israel's failure to learn. Listen to me, you fat cows living in Samaria. You women who oppress the poor and crush the needy. You are always calling to your husbands, bring us another drink. Yahuwah has sworn this by his holiness. The time will come when you will be led away with hooks in your noses. Every last one of you will be dragged away like a fish on a hook. You will be led out through the ruins of the wall. You will be thrown from your fortresses, says Yahuwah. Go ahead and offer sacrifices to the idols at Bethel. Keep on disobeying at Gilgal. Offer sacrifices each morning and bring your tithes every 3 days. Present your bread made with yeast as an offering of thanksgiving. Then give your extra voluntary offering so you can brag about it everywhere. This is the kind of thing you Israelites love to do, says Yahuwah. Ain't they just like we still doing that same foolishness? Hey, turn it down in there. Still doing that same foolishness. I brought hunger to every city and famine to every town. But still, you would not return to me, says Yahuwah. I kept the rain from falling when your crops needed it the most. I sent rain on one town, but I withheld it from another. Rain fell on one field while another field withered away. People staggered from town to town looking for water, but there was never enough. But you still would not return to me, says Yahuwah. And that's another thing. That's something that I realized a while ago. Even though a lot of the New Testament scriptures are suspect to me, in Revelation, and because they pulled a lot of revelation from Daniel and a couple of other books that have been hidden or from the Apocrypha, I realized that when Yahuwah brings judgment, I think we think about judgment in the wrong way. When Yahuwah brings judgment, he always brings judgment to get us to return to him. It's like a true discipline to get you back on the right track. And a lot of time people think, oh, the discipline of Yah is this, and they think it's just one-sided. Like, I'm going to tell them that's it, go on, get out of here. I'm going to kill you, you going to the grave or whatever. No, Yahuwah said he takes no pleasure in the death of wicked people. He simply wants them to turn from their wickedness and begin to do what's right. So with his judgments, and listen, I'm going to read this again. I'm going to start at verse 7. I'm going to start at 6. He causes things to happen to get you to consider your ways. All right, what's going on here? Ain't no rain falling. They getting rain over here. I ain't getting no rain on my crops, y'all. How is this even happening? It seems like things go from bad to worse. When that happens, we should really stop and consider our ways, because Yah is getting our attention, and we've done something, and we've gotten off somewhere. His discipline and his judgment is to bring true justice and a repentance to get us back on track, right? Listen to this. And it's even being shown here. Amos chapter 4, verse 6. I brought hunger to every city and famine to every town, but you still would not return to me, says Yahuwah. Like they show, okay, what's going on? Food shortage, what's going wrong? He said, but you still would not return to me. He said, I brought hunger. Remember, Yahuwah says, I create good and I create evil. Where everybody blaming things on the devil, and all this other kind of stuff. Let's not get into that. But Yahuwah said he creates everything, good and evil. There's a perfect, beautiful balance going on in this world, and people can't even see it because they're ignorant to the fact that Yahuwah is behind it all. He said, I rule in the kingdom of men, and people can't even see it. I brought hunger to every city and famine to every town, but you still would not return to me, says Yahuwah. I kept the rain from falling when your crops needed it the most. I sent rain on one town, but withheld it from another. Rain fell on one field, while another field withered away. People staggered from town to town looking for water, but there was never enough. But you still would not return to me, says Yahuwah. I struck your farms and vineyards with blight and mildew. Locusts devour all your figs and olive trees, but you still would not return to me, says Yahuwah. I sent plagues on you, like the plagues I sent on Egypt long ago. Remember, he's talking to his people. He's talking to hard-headed, thick-headed, thick-necked Israel. He talking to us, the Negro folk. He talking to us. He said, I did this to you. I sent plagues on you like the plagues I sent on Egypt long ago. I killed your young men in war and led all your horses away. The stench of death filled the air, but you still would not return to me, says Yahuwah. I destroyed some of your cities as I destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Those of you who survived were like charred sticks pulled from a fire, but you still would not return to me, says Yahuwah. Therefore, I will bring upon you all the disasters I have announced. Prepare to meet your God in judgment, you people of Israel. For Yahuwah is the one who shaped the mountains, stirs up the winds, and reveals his thoughts to mankind. He turns the light of dawn into darkness and treads on the heights of the earth. Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, is his name. Amos chapter 5. Listen, you people of Israel. Listen to this funeral song that I am singing. The virgin Israel has fallen, never to rise again. She lies abandoned on the ground with no one to help her up. Yahuwah says, when a city sends 1,000 men to battle, only 100 will return. When a town sends 100, only 10 will come back alive. Now this is what Yahuwah says to the family of Israel. Come back to me and live. Don't worship at the pagan altars of Bethel. Don't go to the shrines at Gilgal or Beersheba, for the people of Gilgal will be dragged off into exile, and the people of Bethel will be reduced to nothing. Come back to Yahuwah and live, otherwise he will roar through Israel like a fire, devouring you completely. Your gods in Bethel won't be able to quench the flames. You twist justice, making it a bitter pill for the oppressed. You treat the righteous like dirt. It is Yahuwah who created the stars, the Pleiades and Orion. He turns darkness into morning and day into night. He draws up water from the oceans and pours it down as rain on the land. Yahuwah is his name. With blinding speed and power, he destroys the strong, crushing all their defenses. How you hate honest judges. You despise the people who tell the truth. You trample the poor, stealing their grain through taxes and unfair rent. Therefore, though you build beautiful stone houses, you will never live in them. Though you plant lush vineyards, you will never drink the wine from them. For I know the vast number of your sins and the depth of your rebellions. You oppress good people by taking bribes and deprive the poor of justice in the courts. So those who are smart keep their mouths shut, for it is an evil time. Do what is good and run from evil so that you may live. Then Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, will be your helper, just as you have claimed. Hate evil and love what is good. Turn your courts into true halls of justice. Perhaps yet even Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies, will have mercy on the remnant of his people. Therefore, this is what Yahuwah says. Yahuwah, the God of heaven's army, says, there will be crying in all the public squares and mourning in every street. Call for the farmers to weep with you and summon professional mourners to wail. There will be wailing in every vineyard, for I will destroy them all, says Yahuwah. And remember, when Yahuwah said, when he brings judgment and he destroys something, remember how he does that. He always uses the resources that are already inside our ecosystem, inside our habitat, inside the earth, here. Meaning he brings another nation to bring judgment on the people. Like, he doesn't come down from heaven and you say, oh, there is Yah. No, he uses another nation. He uses what's here. He always uses the resources that are always here. Verse 18, warning of coming judgment. What sorrow awaits you who say, if only the day of Yahuwah were here. You have no idea what you are wishing for. That day will bring darkness, not light. You ever hear, I can't wait till the coming of Yah, or the coming, you hear people say the coming of the Lord, or when JC come back. What they don't realize, they truly don't realize what they're saying, because they have no clue what Yahuwah has said that this day would be like. Now, mind you, for his people, it's going to be a great day of rejoicing, and we're seeing this happen everywhere now. But Yahuwah's people, we aren't phased not one bit. We aren't scared. Blessings are still happening for us. But other people, it's like they truly can't win for losing. All right, so he said, what sorrow awaits you who say, if only the day of Yahuwah were here. You have no idea what you are wishing for. That day will bring darkness, not light. In that day, you will be like a man who runs from a lion only to meet a bear. Escaping from the bear, he leans his hand against a wall in his house, and he's bitten by a snake. Yes, the day of Yahuwah will be dark and hopeless, without a ray of joy or hope. I hate all of your show and pretense, the hypocrisy of your religious festivals and solemn assemblies. I will not accept your burnt offerings and grain offerings. I won't even notice all your choice peace offerings. Away with your noisy hymns of praise. I will not listen to the music of your harps. Instead, I want to see a mighty flood of justice, an endless river of righteous living. Was it to me you were bringing sacrifices and offerings during the 40 years in the wilderness of Israel? No, you served your pagan gods, Sukkoth, your king god, and Kiwan, your star god, the images you made for yourselves. So I will send you into exile to a land east of Damascus, says Yahuwah, whose name is Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies. Last chapter for the day, y'all. Amos chapter 6. What sorrow awaits you who lounge in luxury in Jerusalem, and you who feel secure in Samaria. You are famous and popular in Israel, and people go to you for help. But go over to Calneh and see what has happened there. Then go to the great city of Hamath and down to the Philistine city of Gath. You are no better than they were, and look at how they were destroyed. You push away every thought of coming disaster, but your actions only bring the day of judgment closer. How terrible for you to sprawl on ivory beds and lounge on your couches, eating the meat of tender lambs from the flock and of choice calves fatted in the stall. You sing trivial songs to the sound of the harp and fancy yourselves to be great musicians like David. You drink wine by the bowlful and perfume yourselves with fragrant lotions. You care nothing about the ruin of your nation. Therefore, you will be the first to be led away as captives. Suddenly, all your parties will end. Yahuwah has sworn by his own name, and this is what he, Yahuwah, the God of heaven's army, says, I despise the arrogance of Israel, and I hate their fortresses. I will give this city and everything in it to their enemies. If there were 10 men left in one house, they will all die. And when a relative who is responsible to dispose of the dead goes into the house to carry out the bodies, he will ask the last survivor, is anyone else with you? When the person begins to swear, no, bye, he will interrupt and say, stop. Don't even mention the name of Yahuwah. When Yahuwah gives the command, homes both great and small will be smashed to pieces. Can horses gallop over boulders? Can oxen be used to plow them? But that's how foolish you are when you turn justice into poison and the sweet fruit of righteousness into bitterness, and you brag about your conquest of Lodabar. You boast, didn't we take Carnaim by our own strength? O people of Israel, I am about to bring an enemy nation against you. See, when he brings judgment, he brings another nation. O people of Israel, I am about to bring an enemy nation against you, says Yahuwah, the God of heaven's armies. They will oppress you throughout your land, from Lebo-Hamath in the north to Arabah Valley in the south. And that, my beautiful people, is our reading for today. But it continues on tomorrow, but we ain't gonna get to read that till tomorrow. So, but if you're excited and you really want to see, go ahead. Ain't nobody stopping you from reading ahead. Go ahead and read ahead. You should be reading more than what I'm reading to you in the morning. You know, this morning reading is just really an accountability for me, for you, just to make sure you're getting it in daily, so you daily hearing the words of Yah and what he says. But this not should be your only meal for the day. Feed yourself constantly the words of Yah. All right, beautiful people. It is Thursday, August the 20th, 2020. And we read Amos 4, 5, and 6. This is day 200 and I had to write it down. It is day 230 of year 2. We're on day 593 of consecutively reading through the books of the law and the prophets. And I want to say something else. That's why I paused. So new moon yesterday. So today is day 1. And remember, day 7 will end next Wednesday. So Sabbath is next Wednesday. Remember, every time we have a new moon, whatever day that new moon is on for the next month, that's the Sabbaths line up with the new moon. So if new moon falls on a Wednesday, the Sabbath is new moon 1, 2, 3. Wait, okay, Wednesday. I'm trying to look at the calendar. Okay. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. If it's Wednesday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It falls back on the 7th day after the new moon falls on that next Wednesday. And then that 7 days after that, it falls again on that next Wednesday. And 7 days after that, it falls again on that next Wednesday. Remember, Yahuwah made it so easy for us to keep track of time. I know we've been indoctrinated. Even as we wake up and we go back to the Hebrew roots and everything, there's still a bunch of weeds and jungle that you have to navigate through. And sometimes people get caught up in it. It's like it's just easy to follow the masses. I'm like, I cannot do that. The masses is what got me in trouble the first time and got me off, you know. So I'm like, Father, this can't be. I was like, okay, if they done played with time, I said, how can we be sure? I say, well, we know the people that's there, they've been lying to us all this time, saying they the people telling us we Gentiles, but when in fact they're Gentiles, they're the European converts. I said, so we supposed to listen to them when they tell us the Sabbath is this, that, boom, boom, do this, and we're following it religiously, like they ever start telling us the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, Father, I said, it cannot be this hard. I said, there has to be something that you put in place for when we wake up that we can clearly see. And y'all began to show me, he said, everything that he's done, his signature is in nature. And we can always find our way if we're paying attention to nature. I'm like, oh, snap. I'm like, so It's easy. You can tell when the beginning of the month is. You can tell when the middle of the month is. So even if you ever get off, if you can get outside and you can look at the sun and the moon and how it's going, and you realize that the 15th day of the month is always the full moon and she is the brightest and roundest in the sky. Wait a minute. You will always know that that's the 15th day of the month. So there should never be more than a 2-week period that you are off track. Whether you need to make it to the middle of the month where you can see the full moon, or you make it to the beginning of the month where there's a new moon, where it's completely black, but the day counts with the first sliver. There should never be longer than a 2-week period where you are off track, where you can't tell time. Like seriously, at least from what I've studied so far. And that may change. It may be a shorter period than that, but as I grow and as I learn things that I've learned before that don't quite fit with the truth now, I have to put those things away. And I think that's what people struggle with sometimes as they begin to learn. They get more pieces of the puzzle. The truth that they previously believed has expanded because they have more pieces of the puzzle. Like, wait a minute, okay, I used to think that was that, but that can't be because this is here. So let's put this piece right here for now. Let's not totally discard it because I don't know, we may need this, but they could go to a whole nother puzzle, you know. But for now, we have to remove that because that doesn't fit with the current truth and what we can see and verify and document with our own eyes and our own ears, right? Yahuwah has made it that simple that even children can understand these things. So, guys, I gotta go. My children out here doing the most already. So, hey, chill. Listen. All right, y'all. So the blessing, let's do that. It's found Numbers chapter 6, verses 22 through 27. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, his son, saying, on this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, hey, Bella, chill. May Yahuwah bless us and keep us. May Yahuwah make his face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. May Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon us and give us his peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. Tylane said, what chapter in Leviticus talks about the food you're supposed to eat? The Levitical laws on how you eat begins at, don't have me lying because somebody going to watch this video. See, you said it was chapter 9 and it's 15. Like, people be going in. I'm like, so let me look at that, Tylane. And I'll put it in there. Thank you, Tiffany. But I think 23 is actually the feast, Tiffany. Yeah, chapter Leviticus. I know 23. I got 23 down. 23 is the feast, but it does talk about food. But it's no. Leviticus 23 is listing all the feast days of Yahuwah, including the Sabbath. Right. That's the main chapter of Leviticus that you go to for the feast. But let me look, and I'll post it down here. Tylane. All right, y'all. Love you. See you bright and early on tomorrow. Boo.